Hello and thanks for dropping in. I'm Lily, and we are Inspirited Nudges. In this video, I'm going to talk about numerology and how your spirit guides might use it to nudge you along your path. Before I begin though, we're not numerology experts. This video is just Inspirited Nudges' opinion on how your guides might use numerology to help you. We're also just scratching the surface of this complex topic. Can spirit guides use numerology to help nudge or guide us along our journey in life? Many people I've talked to believe that numerology is the universe telling them things, or determining how a person should live their life. For me, though, the universe is the area in which we live, learn, and play. It's a physical thing, a vast and beautiful thing, but it has no input to our lives. The universe is energy made into matter, and it doesn't care whether we live or die. Our spirit guides, on the other hand, very much do. And so I believe that it's our spirit guides that use numerology to help guide us along our path, if we're open to it and recognize the synchronicities that can come with it. How do our spirit guides nudge us through numerology? I think one of the most common ways is through what people often call angel numbers. These are double or repeating patterns of numbers that spirit guides put in front of us sometimes in order to get our attention and affirm we're on the right track. Or if we're not, they'll use them to guide us back. For example, you've probably had times where you constantly keep seeing a repeating pattern of numbers such as 222. You came to work this morning and saw a car's registration plate which had those numbers on it. And then, later on, you looked at the clock and it was exactly 2:22 in the afternoon. Then you had to mail an invoice to a new customer. Their address was 222 Liverpool Street. After a few of these seemingly random occurrences, you realise something's trying to get your attention. That's your spirit guides using numerology to raise your awareness. How to know what they're trying to tell you. This is where things can get complicated, because much of it is unique to your individual circumstances, your questions, and the path you're on right now. Numerology experts can provide some help here because they understand the intention behind the numbers. The numbers tell a story of their own, but it needs to be combined with your context to form a proper picture. It's a bit like paint by numbers that you might have done when you were a kid. You have the lines of your personal context, and the numbers help you to fill in the colours to see the full scene. So there's a few ways you can add the colours. Quiet meditation to ask your spirit guides what it is that they're trying to convey can definitely be a good way, especially if you're already well practiced at meditation and asking your guides. Consulting a numerologist can also help, as they'll be able to tell you what the numbers themselves mean. And an in-person numerology reading might be something you consider so the numerologist can combine that context with the paint. And of course, if you've asked for a sign to confirm or deny some decision you're trying to make, then this might well be it. You'll have to discern that for yourself based on what you're struggling with and what sign you've asked for. Does this mean that spirit guides tell us what to do? Are they steering our lives, or are we? This is linked to the age-old question about whether or not we have free will. Because if we're just to blindly follow the numerology prompts we see around us, then it's not really us making the choices, is it? But I think that there's a number of things at play here. Firstly, there's this theory called nudge theory, which we'll look at in a later video because it's a deep subject of its own. But basically, humans can be nudged into taking actions without robbing them of their free will. It happens around us all the time. Are you feeling hungry? If I asked you if you'd like something to help you work, rest and play, then, if you're of a certain age, you'd probably reach for a Mars bar. Did you choose that for yourself, or were you nudged into that decision? If someone said you're not yourself right now because you're hungry, would you reach for a different chocolate bar instead? Do those nudges, which we've all experienced in our lifetimes, take away our free will? I don't believe so. They try to steer us to do what they want us to do, but we still have the power to say, nope, I'm going to have a bag of crisps instead. And so it is, I believe, with spirit guides' nudges through numerology. Spirit guides are the OG of nudge theory, and they use these nudges to guide us along, but they don't judge us if we choose a different path. And they don't force us to take the path they've set. Of course, we only have free will within a set of fairly narrow parameters anyway, because our will still has to obey the laws of physics and other universal laws. I can't arbitrarily decide I'm going to fly to the moon because I want to, for example. But that's a topic for another video too. How this might correlate with life path numbers, expression numbers. I believe these numbers are suggestions, or trends. They're how people are perceived, behave, and think about themselves if they follow their default. That doesn't mean they're forced to think and behave in that way, but they probably will if they don't choose any different. Being of a certain personality then tends to lead to certain career choices and defines other people's perceptions of you. In this way, if you go along with it, that's the way your life will be subtly and subconsciously guided. But even that is only a nudge. You're not forced to follow that, although you might make the pathway of your life more difficult if you don't. This is because nobody said that the easy way was the right way. You have the freedom to choose the easy way or the hard way. What's to say you didn't choose to have the wrong set of numerology numbers when you were born, so you could experience what it's like to have to change yourself? Which leads us to, can we choose our own life path number? Before I answer this question, let me just clarify what a life path number is because it'll help you to understand why this question is controversial. So briefly, a person's numerological life path number is found using their date of birth. The numbers are combined in such a way as the end result ends up being a number between 1 and 9, or it can be 11, 22, or 33. These numbers are then interpreted by numerologists to give people information about their personality traits and the challenges they might face. So most people would assume, since the number is based on your birth date, that it can't be changed. But babies arrive early or late, according to our human expectations at least, all the time, and that changes their numerology, life path number. So, in theory, a soul could, in conjunction with their spirit guides, choose to delay entering the body by a few days, or decide to enter a few days early, and thus influence that person's life path number accordingly. And then, the environment the person grows in, and the character for that incarnation of that soul is set. On that basis, the free will of the soul has been involved with the life path number from the very beginning. Then, when you get older in this incarnation, you decide that life path number is no longer serving you. Well, then you can decide not to behave in the ways associated with that number. But as before, deciding that might not be as easy as it sounds. But you do have the freedom to make that choice. Explaining how we chose our own expression number. Given that most people probably hadn't considered that babies might choose their birth date, you probably haven't considered how you might be involved in choosing your own name. You think your parents chose your name for you, and maybe they did. Or maybe they were led to give you that name through nudges from their own spirit guides. I believe my spirit guides interact with other people's spirit guides all the time. It's the only way to explain a lot of the synchronicities in life. Numerology and synchronicities are closely linked, and they happen because your spirit guides help to arrange them, in cooperation with other people's guides. Your spirit guides can, and do, communicate with other people's spirit guides on a regular basis. But I also believe other people's spirit guides do not communicate directly with humans with whom they are not associated. I think it makes it much more difficult for the human to be able to discern the truth and wisdom of the guidance, since they don't know the messenger if it's not one of their own guides, and this would potentially lead to chaos. But that's getting off the track of uncovering the connections between your spirit guides and numerology, and I'm out of time for this session. so I'll leave that there for now. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon to be notified of new videos. Please do leave us a comment with your thoughts on this topic. I'm Lily, and you've been watching Inspirited Nudges. Keep questioning. Watch for the synchronicities. Feel the nudges. Until next time, bye for now.